once you get a grip on it, it's okay. But in order to grow, you have to change, and you have to be able to adapt. Changing is not hard. You just have to be willing to modify it and make it work for you. That's what I do with change, the way I live my life. You digest it,
Hello, everybody.
take a deep
We're here
breath,
today with our
and make that
department
next step.
director, Meka. And Meka, tell us what you're doing today. What's going on in your life today?
Hi, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Meka Douthit Ingram. I am the system-wide department director of CCMD and eLink. I work along with the amazing Jennifer Watkins, who we recently partnered in this role to bring department director to these departments to have oversight. I've been working with Jennifer in this role for about 6 months, and we just want to share this video with you so you can learn a little bit more about CCMD and the amazing things that we do.
All right. I look forward to it. All right. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, on with the show then.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Angel Brooks. I'm a CMT here at the CCMD department, and I would like to walk you through and introduce you all to our new space here at 4411 West Market Street. Y'all can come on in with me. When you come in the door, as you can see, our new area is a big space, which we love. We have all the things that we need here. This is our workstation area where we print out all of our paperwork in the mornings. We also have the writing utensils and everything else that we need. And if you were to look around, you'll see we have our stations set up a specific way. That's so that we can optimize our workflow so that the patients are being watched no matter if we take a break, go to the restroom, whatever we need to do so that we can continue monitoring. And also,
The little sign back there. What's that?
yes, our sign, Cone Health, CCMD, and eLink. And once again, welcome to 4411 West Market Street. And my shirt, I want to make sure we see this.
Oh, what's that say?
It says the team of one, basically emphasizing that we all work together for the patient to give the best patient care. And that's what we love to do here at Cone.
Very good. Who is that lady over there? Who is that? Is that one of your coworkers?
Yes, several of my coworkers. We have Harley working hard, Tiffany, Gayle. We also have Alicia, and Alicia is doing a double role right now, her and Howie, because they're keeping an eye on my station as well. That's why we have it set up like this so that we can optimize care. And then down here on this end, we have Maria, who's standing, Jennifer, and Minky. Oh, let me show y'all our new locker area.
Okay.
We have lots of new things here. This is our new locker area.
Very good.
And we would love it if you all would, anytime you feel like it, take time out to come over and visit us and see how our workflow goes and just come and spend time with us, because we work with the nursing team, so we want you guys to have that experience as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Yes.
Good morning, Jennifer Watkins. Good morning, everybody. We're here with Jennifer Watkins this morning, our department director, who has been with us for quite some time and has brought CCMD a long, long way. Miss Jennifer, you've accomplished a lot and you help a lot of people grow, and you've gone a long way with CCMD. So, without me saying anything, introduce yourself and tell us about your goals and objectives, and how you've accomplished so much for us.
Sure. Well, good morning, everybody. As Dwayne said, I'm Jennifer Watkins, the Assistant Director of Centralized Cardiac Monitoring Department, and I came to the department in 2015 from being in a leadership position at the hospital, and had been kind of on the receiving end of interacting with CCMD in that regard with our patients on the department, and have always had an interest. Even my very first nursing department out of nursing school was a cardiac telemetry department, and so I've always had an interest in that aspect of nursing. And this was a new opportunity when I came to the department to learn a new skill set as far as the monitoring aspect, to learn that in such detail, as well as what the monitor techs do. And you're right, Dwayne, to think back now how far we've come from the small square room when I first came to CCMD that everyone was working in, to the beautiful new space that we just moved into at Market Street. There has been a lot of change over the 7 years, I guess, now that I've been here.
Mhm.
And when I first came to the department, I guess the things that stood out to me were just, as you said, there was opportunity there to put some standard work in place and develop the practices to be more consistent around the clock with all CMTs of how we provided care from CCMD to the patients that we're watching. And so I think that's been really successful. We have a lot of standard work in place now, and safety measures that have come along the way as patient events have kind of occurred over the years. And we've taken all of those events and done deep dives into those and figured out where our process breakdowns were, and implemented new processes or updated current processes to try to prevent those from happening in the future. My goal was always that I wanted us to be the best at providing cardiac monitoring to our patients at Cone Health.
And you have done that. You have done that because you've had to go through multiple personalities. I see everybody that's on your team, as far as leadership is concerned, even smallest level, the lead techs, are people with strong personalities. And you managed to work with those personalities to turn them around so they could even be better people themselves, as far as leadership is concerned. I appreciate that because everybody doesn't have the ability to teach or to lead. But I've seen it turn from people being demanded to people asking for a response, and it's because you because of your direction and skill. So I know it's not easy because people are going to be people and their differences, and you have a way of handling that. So what's your hope for the department is responding to the nurses and secretaries and techs and things like that in the future? Because we're a long way from Cone Hospital now. It's not like we can walk across the street and talk to people.
Right. Yes. Well, my approach has always been, I'll sure I will keep that same approach. We just might have to come up with some newer tactics, being now in a new location. But even when I first came to CCMD, my approach has always been, because I am a nurse and I have been on the department side taking care of patients and interacting with CCMD on that kind of, like I said, receiving manner of receiving phone calls, and really in-depthly understand the perspective of the nurse of what else is going on the department that CCMD might not be able to see. The complexity of the patients, the admissions that are happening, how they may be short-staffed with nurses or techs, and the chaos a lot of times that goes on every day on the nursing departments while they're trying to provide that care for the patient. So I always kind of have that lens when I'm talking with a CMT who might be frustrated with a nurse that's not answering the phone or may have not responded appropriately. And not to say that excuses that behavior, but I've always encouraged everybody to try to not take that personally. I know because I can just reflect back on times as a nurse taking care of patients when I probably was short with someone on the phone, or maybe didn't answer or hang up the phone in the best manner just because of the busyness and everything else that is going on that time. And it never was intended about it wasn't against the person that I was speaking to. So I try to remind folks of that and encourage them. And I know that's easier said than done for sure. And now on the reverse side, I do the same thing with nurses when I talk to them about the CMTs. So when I teach at Nurse Academy, and any nursing group that I talk to, when they may express frustrations about the number of phone calls that they get, or maybe a CMT was not so nice to them over the telephone, I do the same thing. I tell the nurses, you don't understand what it is that they're dealing with. They have this many patients that they're watching. They have this many phone numbers and phone calls that they're keeping up with. They may be short staffed. They may have personal things going on outside of work also that maybe made them not show up in the best way today. So I just try to help with that perspective, and I think it helps people understand. Again, because I am a nurse, so I think when I talk to nurses about it and give them that perspective, they trust that I do know what I'm talking about. I've taken the opportunity to make sure to insert myself wherever I can to speak about CCMD and what the CMTs are doing and the challenges that you guys face, teaching at the Nurse Academy and the Nurse Tech Academies, and bringing those folks to the department whenever possible so that they can see the environment that you guys work in and the amount of alarms that you're dealing with and the phone calls and the high stress, very important job that you guys are doing. I think that slowly, it takes a long time to chip away at that, but I think we're better than we were, and we just have to keep at it and keep reminding each other we're all here for the patient.
I noticed it. I noticed the nurses are more willing to talk to us now and more willing to understand when you
Yeah,
tell a patient, on a bad day, somebody's sick or something, or it snows, and I noticed that. I appreciate that about you, and I appreciate a long time ago when we first started, people used to do safety zones, and it seemed to be something a report mechanism.
hmm
Some sort of defense for people, but you turned it around and said the safety zones are designed to educate, not to prosecute or persecute people.
that's right. Yeah, like I said before, taking each of those events, I'd love for people to do a safety zone and let us know on either side, either for us to do if something hasn't gone right with the nursing personnel or something hasn't gone right on our side. We can't fix things if we don't know that they're happening. So we definitely with Just Culture want to really evaluate the process and figure out where the holes are in the process more so than whatever it is about the person themselves.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out because I know you got a meeting to do. You got a lot of things to do. You stepped in to be monitor tech the other day, all day, and to relieve people.
Yeah.
You do a fantastic job, and I appreciate you. And I know we all do. I was wondering if you don't have a lot of headaches, but you seem to enjoy what you do. Yeah, and I think you'll enjoy the rest of the interviews as well, which will be a nice surprise for you. Because
I,
the staff reflects the leadership when they talk on the phone, when they do things in the way they think. As I say, I think you've done a fantastic job, and I thank you for being here and being our director and being a friend, being my friend for years. I know. I appreciate you. Hey, Melinda.
Hey, Dwayne.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
All right. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and the reason we want to talk to you, you play a vital role. Of course, everybody's role is vital, but you
Right.
play you have a strategic role, and that you orientate a lot of people. Or CCMD. And so, how do you prioritize? What do you prioritize as far as orientation is concerned when people come into the unit?
What I do first, the reason for orientation, and we try to mainly most of the time have one person doing it. We want everybody to learn everything the same way starting off. Not saying that everybody doesn't teach everybody the same way, but we want everybody to make sure that when they're orienting somebody, that they're teaching them everything step by step from the start of the day to the end of the day. We want to make sure that they understand the policies and procedures and what goes on.
Okay. And so, how do you orientate them with nurses in a job? Period, because that's their job, communicating with nurses.
Right. So one of the things that we could do tele handoff report with the nurses. That starts us off with you calling the nurse, kind of seeing how they are and saying good morning, how are you? I'm your CMT for today. This is what's going on with your patient. Is there anything that you need to tell me that I need to know about the patient? And making sure that you're having a good day, that you're having we're having good back and forth communication with the nurse.
Okay. That doesn't happen all the time, but
no, it does not happen all the time. But we want to make sure that we're putting the effort forward and being able to try to reach the nurse and get trying to just have our day good and trying to make sure they have a good day.
Okay. And that's what you hear all day long at CCMD, phones ringing and stuff.
Yes.
People trying to contact you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 3 minute step. At least it was before COVID. But when COVID came along, things changed. Explain that 3 minute rule or policy.
What we're doing is actually like 2 minutes. We want to be, if there's a patient that comes off the monitor, because we can't see what's going on, so we kind of go like in panic mode. We want to know why the patient's off the monitor. So what we do, first thing we do is we call the nurse. And we call the nurse, okay, hey, your patient is off the monitor. If we can't get into the nurse, we have 2 minutes, and then we have to make another call. After the nurse, we're calling the charge nurse. We want to, hey, we've spoken to the nurse. We can't get, the patient is still off, and it's been off for 2 minutes. And then after that charge nurse call, we have to call the blue phone because we don't know what's going on. All we see is a blank screen, a systole, and that gets us kind of panicking because we want to make sure that the patient is okay.
Yeah, flags go up. That's the most important thing. Is it like you say, patient care?
Right.
What happens when you don't get the charge nurse or nobody answers the blue phone?
Right. You go to house coverage. And after house coverage, you start the process all over again. And once you went through that first process, you just have to start again. You want to communicate with your lead tech that's for that day. And then we call and try to get in touch with JW to see if we can get her to get that patient on the monitor.
Okay.
But hopefully we don't.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to go through all that all
Right.
the time. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now that you're moving into a new place, what's your hopes? Because
my hopes for this new place is that everybody comes in with a fresh mindset, coming in with peace, coming in with hopefully that we have good communication, that we're starting off fresh, starting off from scratch, that when we try to reach a nurse, that we have good communication, that we're able to reach them in a timely manner to get the patient and take patient back on the monitor and take care of them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
To make sure that we got
I want to say something about peace because Gayle mentioned about peace the other night, and that's something the world's missing in general.
Right. That's right, Dwayne.
Right. So I appreciate your time. And
thank you for having me out here, Dwayne.
Yeah, you're very inspirational, and
thanks.
you do a good job. And
thank you, Dwayne. You do too.
All right. Look forward to seeing you at the new place tomorrow.
All right. I look forward to going for that change.
Yeah. Change is always good.
Yeah.
All right. You have a good evening.
You too.
Now we have the privilege of speaking with Nancy Prairie, who has not only is she a monitor tech, but at once physical therapist. So being in patient care and working around nurses and being around people in need is not a stranger to you. It can't be, but it's quite a transition because now you do it differently. Now you're not able to run up to people and talk to them. Hey, let's have this conversation. Let's straighten this out. Let's do this and let's do that. So what's helped you in your communication as far as being able to open doors per se, where they may have been closed before for you?
Okay. All right. I think one of the things that's helped me with my communication was when I got to visit one of the nursing units that we serve a few years ago. And I got introduced to a lot of the nurses that we worked with, and they got introduced to me. And someone else from our department went as well. I just don't recall who it was, but it was very helpful to be there right on the front lines with the nurses and the nurse techs to see what it was like for them and what they were in the midst of doing when their phones rang. And it was our department. It was CCMD on the other end of the line. I would love to visit more nursing units. I would love for all of us to have that opportunity. And I would love for all the nurses and techs to have the opportunity to visit our department and see us in action and see, what we're dealing with while we're doing our jobs. And another thing that helps me is just to try to be empathetic, try to remember what the frontline staff is facing, being there right with the patients and the family members and all the other staff members that they interface with. Just trying to be empathetic and remember what they're going through and try to be a cheerful voice on the other end of the line.
Mm-hmm. And you do that pretty well because you know somebody that you talk to one day, they may sound like they might not want to be bothered with you, but in reality, that could be a cry for help. That could be someone saying, "Well, hey, I wish I had somebody to talk to that was interested in me," and you do that pretty well. And so, range from 1 to 9. Is it worked out for you so far?
I would say most definitely it has worked out for me so far. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, because nothing is perfect.
Exactly.
We can all improve. I thank you for your time.
You are most welcome. My privilege.
Yeah, because you're a busy person, I know, and it was hard to keep up. Catch you today. I know you have 1,000 things to do, and we
And
all
I know
do.
you do too.
Yeah, and I think this is gonna help in people getting to know each other, name with a face, and as you say, being more empathetic, in nursing,
Mhm.
especially since it's on Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yahoo. And I thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again in video. And I guess everybody else does too. So, yeah. And is there anything else you want to say to people? Like, encourage them to do or be?
Just to keep up the good work that everyone is doing. Be yourself. Stay true to the cause and keep up the good work.
All right.
And thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you. And let's give them some heartbeat music to end up on. So I'm going to stop recording and move on to the next person. Hey, Gayle. How you doing over there?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Let me turn this music down a little bit. first of all, let me thank you for meeting with me this evening. I know you tired and you work a lot. You're always on CCMD and you're always playing that part, being supportive. And that's why we was so interested in talking to you because you've been on both sides of the game. Been nurse tech, been a secretary, now you're monitor tech, and sometimes when you were on the floor, you did both. So
Yes.
we were talking about communication. So when it comes to communication, can you separate it from doctors to nurses or whatever?
I don't think communication can be separated because we need communication to understand each other. Like communication is a very vital. Um, it's very vital in our role, especially as healthcare providers, because communication can release stress in everybody. So if we communicate with each other and we get our point across with good communication, a strong verbal communication or written communication, I think that the patients will be taken better care of, and it will relieve a lot of stress off the doctors, the nurses, the secretaries, the techs, and everybody's day would go smooth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, right. And so now all the time you know for yourself you can't reach a nurse. So how vital is it that you have a dependable nurse tech or secretary in your corner
I
for
think
the
it's
day?
very, very vital that we have a strong nurse tech, secretary, charge nurse, somebody that we can get to reach out to and say, this is going on with that patient. Can you please go check this patient
Mm-hmm.
in a timely manner?
Mm-hmm. So how does that work for you on a daily basis?
Um, so far it's been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
The,
haven't had any problems so far.
okay. Have, have you always been able to reach a nurse or something when you want to?
Not all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but when I can't reach a nurse, I am sure to get a secretary.
Mm-hmm.
And a secretary will get on it. She was like, I'm on it, I got it, and they will go do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you have the same situation with nurse techs because I know you were talking about people have different there are different levels. People within the system, people communicate on different levels and they understand things a little bit differently, don't you think?
Yes. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah.
some secretaries won't have the same level of experience that you talk to, but some will be right on the situation, just as you said
Yes.
before. Mm-hmm.
We have some that's more outgoing than others, but they all are good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so, what
Hmm.
do you do on a bad day when you can't reach anybody?
I pray. I ask God for his help, his guidance, and pray somebody pick up the other line and this patient is okay. I look at the patients as my parents, my child, my sister, my brother, my family member.
Mm-hmm.
And how would I react if that was my family member?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would want someone to go in there right away. So that's how I look at it.
It's the same. It's different now that you can't really reach out. When you were on the floor or was on the floor, you can go down the hall yourself and see.
Right,
But now you can't. You have a more of alert. It's more alarming now.
right. And
Yeah.
I really miss that part of being able to go down there and say, honey, let me put your leads on for you because we can't see you at the monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Or can I get anything for you? Are you okay in this room? I miss that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I
Yeah,
know they miss you too.
I'm sure they do.
Well, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna let you go so you can get some rest now, cause I know you're ready to go to bed.
Okay.
Cause
Time is moving
moving
away.
on, right? And so, what hopes do you have for this?
Smoothing away.
Since we moved to this new location, further away from the hospital,
My
so what do you hope to see?
breaks
What do you hope to see improve?
Well,
that
I
take
hope to see that patient care continues to be as good as it is. And I hope to see that
and I
everyone continue to get along and for a peaceful environment. Yes, peace.
Hope everybody comes to work and want that.
Everybody come to work, come together to take care of our patients as we should. If you pick this profession, I think that you picked it for a reason. And the biggest reason is the patients.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Gayle. You have a good night. Very good. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Wayne. Good
We're
morning.
here with Lauren Gaydon this morning. Lauren, now you've been in the business for about 40 years now, right?
43.
Oh, okay. And you know pretty much about everything.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I know a lot.
Basically.
I leave everything to the doctors and nurses.
Yeah. Hey, who's your friend there?
This is Millie.
Oh, okay. Hey, Millie. So we're talking about today, since you're so experienced and your experience is so intense and so depth. We're talking about like code situations and how to identify and notify people, and beforehand letting them know. So what's the most critical step that you have to take? Doing a code. You told me about a book you read one time. When you respond, when people should respond to codes and how they should respond.
Oh, that was a long time ago. There was a book that the nurses, we were all reading it together, and it was actually in the book for the nurses to not stand at the monitors and trying to analyze the rhythm, but to go to the room and assess the patient. So that's the most important step.
Okay, that's smart. So how do you detect? I know you can detect flat line. That's easy. That's a lot, right? Sometimes it's false and sometimes it's not. But there are signs that lead up to a code, like Tersad or VTAC or something like that. What do you explain? How do you explain Tersad to a nurse over a phone if a patient's having Tersad and they're in danger? What do you say? What do you do?
Well, if they know what it is, they know to go to the room right away, which they should anyway. But when we get down to explaining it, it's a VTAC rhythm. It's a ventricular rhythm, but it has a definite corkscrew appearance. You can see the rhythm kind of turning on itself over and over if it lasts long enough.
Okay, and you'll save a strip.
Oh yes, I'll save the strips. We send them over and we document them and mark them up and write them in the. We document it on the paper, and then we document it in the Epic.
Okay.
Yeah. The most important thing though is getting in touch with the nurse so she can go assess the patient.
Okay, and what's that process like?
Well, we call the nurse first. If she doesn't answer the phone, we call the charge nurse. If the charge nurse doesn't answer the phone, we use the blue phone. Anybody can answer the blue phone. Anybody that's at the nursing station, and they will get somebody to the room right away. Okay. On the off chance that doesn't work, we call the AC. Okay. Which is the what does AC stand for?
That could be proved to be fatal by then, right?
Oh, I know. Normally, now that doesn't happen often at all. I mean, usually the nurse answers and the charge nurse answers. One of the two of them will answer the phone.
Mm-hmm. So that's a frightening moment.
Oh, it is a frightening moment, and you just keep going through the process because somebody gets to it, and usually it's like instantaneous. But there are moments where it's sometimes 2 minutes can seem like 30 minutes.
Okay.
When you're in the middle of it.
Okay.
And but usually it takes care of itself. But usually it's it takes care of itself within a few minutes. But you feel like an eternity it's gone by. You can go through all those steps in a matter of a minute. If you're quick on it. But
I know most.
Go ahead.
Most nurses are pretty efficient.
Oh yeah.
They're dealing with it. Sometimes they're right there in the room.
Sometimes they're in the room, especially in the ICU. And that's where kind of the team effort, because the hospital over there and in the hospital building per se, they already have steps in place. they've tried to, like I was talking about earlier before we got on Zoom, the rapid response team assesses the patient if they go into if the nurse is concerned about them. So they will try to get them into the appropriate ICU or whatever before they actually code.
Okay.
That's a real good step they've had enforced. So what I was going with that, they have other steps in place where the nurses hopefully know their patients better than we do, and know who's critical and all that. That's why a lot of times they're actually in the room when we call. But it's good to have our backup and our support, and that's where all the team play comes in.
It's good to have a cooperating team.
Yes.
So I appreciate you. I have one more question.
Okay.
Now, you've worked the floors. What's the scariest moment you've ever had as far as on the floors? Say we won't say on.
It's changed so much. It's high tech now. Back in the old days, you just. There's been many frightening moments over there. It's like back in the old days, you had like the computers, and it was very high tech at the time. But if you didn't catch the rhythm in a minute, it was gone forever. It was computerized, but you had to catch it, find it, and tell the nurse. But or if you didn't, it was gone. You had to glue it on the paper and all that. So. And different people, like always, forever and always, different people have different responses to things. So sometimes you might have, with a particular nurse or whatever, you might not be communicating well, or they might be not responding to you. So if you're in a monitor room all by yourself and you're trying to get a nurse to go check a patient, maybe they have something else that they're doing. Those moments are frightening. They're fewer and far between than they used to be. We've had some. I've seen some really bad codes back in the day, and more. I think they were more frequent back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Just because of the all the steps they have put into place with things like rapid response and ICU treatments and drugs and drips and surgery and whatnot.
Very good. Well, we certainly do appreciate you taking the time out today. I forgot your puppy's name.
Millie.
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 Oh, so it's a girl. Okay, yes. Thank you for bringing Millie, and thank you for being here and the service you provided all of you. You're a positive role model.
Well, thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate having all of y'all. It's been a very humbling experience to work at the hospital because you really do depend on other people to help you. And no matter how smart you might think you are, you might not know something, or you know what I mean. It depends on the whole team. Yeah. And I've been very humbled and honored to work with many people over there: doctors, nurses, techs, monitor techs, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks, and we'll see you on the video.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Good morning, Miss Shae.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Good. I want to talk to you because you seem to be a professional when it comes to like handling conflict. So, what do you do when you try to reach out to a nurse or to anybody all day? I mean, not all day, but for a long period of time for something serious. And maybe I answer the phone and say, "Why are you calling me so much? Why do you do that?"
The only thing you can do is keep your tone and say the reason I am calling, and you give them that reason. There's no reason to escalate it. There's no reason to go into it. You tell them what you have to tell them, and if that doesn't work, you just follow the next step. There's no need to stressing yourself out.
Sometimes you know a lot of people.
I do.
So different things affect different people.
I do.
Right? So what could cause someone to be irritated over the phone?
It could be a number of things. It could be how their day is going, how their patients are going. It could be something outside of work. that's got them mentally drained. So you never know what a person's going through, and that's what I try to take into consideration. You never know what a person's going through, so if they have a bad attitude, if they are angry or mad, just keep your cool, because again, you never know what a person's going through. And you can still get your point across without fussing, yelling, screaming on the phone, having a bad attitude. You can still get your point across to them. So I just try to keep it kosher at all times.
All right. So it's been nice talking to you.
I appreciate it.
I knew you're a shy girl.
Very shy.
Now we finally get a chance to talk with you, Meka Ingram. I will tell you one thing, that when I first saw your application and I saw the two people applying, I was sort of excited about the guy that was a black belt and all that. You say, oh, maybe he'll get his tough guy thing. Maybe that's what we need. But you came and you got the job, and I'm so glad you did, because you're such a bright light and you're such a powerful influence to everybody. You care and you reach out. Such a down-to-earth person. So I don't take up too much time asking questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and your goals, and what do you do now? What are you involved in? Like, what part of life do you embrace?
All right. Well, I've been a nurse for 26 years. I've been at Cone for 7. I'm excited to be in this new position of director over both units. My goals for the department is for people to see what we bring, for us to be recognized as a valuable part of the care team and to be treated with mutual respect. I want everybody to know, all of my nursing colleagues to know that in CCMD we're watching, and it's so specific, the specificity, the level of intricacy that are placed into those strips, and the care that's provided, the calls that are made, is all because we have the patient at the center of everything that we do. So I just want to go out. One of my goals is to go out, now that I've talked to the staff, to go out and talk to the departments that we serve and get them re-enrolled and let them know who we are as people and the jobs that we do, and get them to partner with us so that we can deliver the best care that we can. I want both of these departments to be on the map. I want people to recognize us for what we do and also tap us into doing other things so that we can continue to grow. Because as the health system grows, we should grow, and we're capable, and we will be ready to do that. So I'm excited to work with Jennifer on many of the new initiatives and things that we're going to be doing in the future.
Well, let me ask you this: you make great efforts to meet with people. You seem to make an asserted effort to schedule time to meet with people and talk with them. You go around talking to them, and you are quite original. You're very much the original people, real, and you care about people. So, your job. What other jobs do you do besides this? What do you do? You're involved with a lot, I know.
Yes. So in addition to the CCMD and E-Link teams that I lead, I also am a co-facilitator for the Executive Nurse Leadership Academy at Cone, and that's for current and future leaders from the staff to the executive level. So we have 14 nurses in those cohorts. And I also am the president of the North Carolina Nurses Association, where I am leading 8,000 nurses, and our goal is to get over 12,000 nurses to be a member of this organization. So, and that's just to advocate for our profession and for patient care. So I do that, and then I'm a wife and a mother.
And with all that, all the degrees that you have in the background, you don't carry. You carry yourself. You carry compassion. You carry love, and you show people, let people know that they are people.
Mm-hmm. I want people to know that they matter, DeWayne. I want people to know that I see them, and that it's important that everybody has a voice. And for me, connection is important. To make sure, because we're 24/7, 365. No matter what, we have to be here. So I feel as a leader, I owe it to my teams to let them know I see you. I see you in your work environments. And I want to set aside time uninterrupted to make sure that we have time to check in just so I can say, how are y'all doing? What do you need? What's working? What's not working? So that we can continue to grow strong together and deal with our challenges and opportunities as they arise instead of waiting, for something to come out that we don't want to. Let's deal with it when it's just, a spark before it becomes a fire. So I think that if we're proactive and we use the mechanisms that we have, and then we talk and get the people involved that need to be involved, we can go so far and do wonderful things. But I want my teams to know that I care about them and that I'm here for them.
Very good. Now, what's the idea? I've heard people say things like having the nurses come visit various units in the hospital. How you think? What do you think about doing that?
I think that's what I think, we need to open up. We're in that nice space, 4411. I think, people really understand the work when they see, and, the environment in which the work is delivered. So I think it'll be wonderful for them to come to CCMD and to E-Link so that they can see what's going on. I think it's also a wonderful idea, and what I would love to see is a group of our teams to go to see them. So if you are normally assigned to Wesley Long or Annie Penn, go and show them, hey, I am the face behind the phone. I am the person that you are talking to, just to have different representatives so that they can feel connected and have that relationship. So when they feel like they're stressed and they feel like they got a lot going on, they can remember the face behind the phone, and that our what we're focused on is making sure that patient gets the best care that they need and deserve, and that the staff member, the nurses, get the support that they need. And then we want to make sure that all of our CCMD family get the support and the respect that they deserve.
I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time out to do this, this time of the night, because with all you have to do, if you took out, it was 8 o'clock, and you've been up all day. We both have, but it's very special. And so, any concluding words or what's your motto?
I just want to see, the way that I lead is with light. I'm a very faith-filled person, so I try to see optimism in everything that we do, and give somebody hope to look towards instead of this. So I try to see the opportunity instead of the obstacle. But I want to say to my CCMD family, keep pressing, keep doing the wonderful things that y'all are doing. You are making a tremendous difference, and I am honored to work with each and every one of you.
We're honored to have you. I know I can speak for them because they always speak so highly of you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And don't burn out trying to get to everybody.
Come on, we gotta pace ourselves. We'll get there. So I thank you for understanding, all the team for understanding, and for being available when we need to talk. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Chastity. This right here is our last Saturday here. What you got to say?
I would like to say that I am glad that we are moving, and I love you all.
Wait a minute, Melinda. Come back. What do you got to say?
I'm thankful that we are going into a new space, and that we're going to leave all the negativity here and have a peaceful transition.
Amen.
All right. Very good. Now move on to the next. Sugar lip.
I got to be by myself.
Our last day. Our last Saturday.
That God He closes old doors and opens new doors for a reason. We have a new one open, a new stepping stone.
Here.
And we're going to be grateful and blessed.
All righty. Now, Linda.
Yes, sir.
Our last Saturday.
Huh?
Our last Saturday. Here. It's our last Saturday here.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, my. Oh, yeah. I just realized that.
Okay. All right. You just getting off, so I understand. Yeah. All right. Let me go down here. What you say, my brother? Last Saturday here. What do you got to say about it?
Oh, looking forward to the next chapter for us.
Here.